Now, the Truth and Reconciliation Judicial Cases Commission inquiry has been adjourned until the 26th of November. This follows a request by the National Prosecuting Authority for the recusal of the Commission's chief evidence leader, Advocate Ismael Semenya. The NPA argued that Semenya advised on the 2005 prosecution policy, and it is therefore inappropriate for him to be involved in the inquiry where the NPA is a respondent. The commission was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa in May this year. It's chaired by retired Constitutional Court Judge Sisi Khampepe to determine whether attempts were made to prevent the investigation and prosecution of apartheid-era crimes. To talk more about the latest developments, we're joined in studio by Lionel Adendorf. He's a spokesperson for the TRC Cases Commission of Inquiry. Lionel, thanks for joining us. Thanks very much for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
So, a delay. Were you made aware of this matter before the commission actually began about the evidence leader?
Of course, we were aware, the commissioners were aware, but it was because of his experience that we thought that he would be good at it. We knew about his involvement. Advocate Semenya, if you know his history, is one of the most qualified, also one of the most experienced when it came to commissions, and that is why we thought that he would be appropriate for it. But it is also true that the NPA and the Department of Justice knew about his appointment by Justice Khampepe, and they never raised an issue with it at the time. And when they brought it up just in a conversation, the commission told them to please bring an application. And we were expecting an application even up until early morning on Monday, but it was interesting that no application was brought, yet they brought up the matter almost as a by the way during deliberations on another objection that involved a decision that the commission made.
Very frustrating. I mean, because this is, at the end of the day, it's known from the start that Advocate Ismael Semenya was going to be leading this. So, yes. And then all of a sudden now, only now has it become an issue, as of yesterday.
But Leanne, also, sorry to interrupt you, but also we have, when they brought it up in a conversation, we told them some time ago that if you have a problem with it, bring an application. Yeah. And when the hearing started on yesterday morning, no application was on the table.
So what do we say to the family? Because the family are just saying, and they're reiterating what unfortunately seems like what is actually at play right now, is that families are seeing this as yet another sign that the state isn't serious about justice.
To protect and defend the integrity and the credibility of our processes, the TRC Cases Inquiry do unfortunately not want to venture onto what others think and what they might read into it. Ours is to maintain a good relationship with all those interested and affected parties, to work with all of them to get to the bottom of the truth, and then to help the process to uncover what really happened. And that is why, while we do understand the milieu that we are currently in and these perceptions that are being created, we choose not to have an opinion on it, because we want to be above reproach and then do things according to the rules and our terms of reference. So yeah, our commissioners are equally frustrated by another delay, because we were very excited about starting yesterday.
So you say you go by the rules. Was there due diligence done by the commission in vetting Semenya's appointment? Was
Yes.
this done? Did you find absolutely nothing wrong with it? The oversight that undermines the credibility of the entire process, was this done? Is there anything wrong with having him there, in your opinion?
No. We also need to understand that while Advocate Semenya was in that position in the NPA 20 years ago, he was not in an executive position. He was merely advising them. Secondly, he did not deal with a particular case on their behalf. He was just dealing with a process on their behalf. So I can assure you that the commissioners have thought this through. They have applied their minds, and they thought at the time that it would be best for Advocate Semenya to continue.
So, I mean, this is the reality is, and if we look this, in 2008, the NPA policy is one of the central issues under scrutiny for essentially or allegedly enabling political interference. So wouldn't one then assume that it's inherently problematic that someone involved in crafting the actual policy is now expected to leave evidence?
Some might think it, and I can tell
some
you,
do think it. So,
as a business,
I mean, for me, the vetting just wasn't there.
As a business ethicist, I can certainly see where you're going. But the other thing is also true, that he was not an executive within the department. He was not an implementer. He was merely advising the department, and it was up to the department at the end of the day to make a particular decision whether they go this way or that way, whether they approve or whether they disapprove, whether they support or don't support. It was not up to him. He was merely advising. And that, I think, was an important consideration for our commissioners in his involvement or his continued involvement in the TRC cases inquiry.
Yeah, I mean, critics are arguing that these constant procedural delays are actually deliberate. They're tactics to stall accountability, that there are people that are in power that were very much so involved in all of this. It's very hard, I know, for you to comment on this, but the families are making assumptions. The families, every time there's a delay, the wounds open up again.
Yeah. That is so true. And that's why I'm saying that it is also very sad, and our commissioners feel it personally, because one, the victims or the families are no longer as young as they were when they gave evidence 30 years ago. They are aging. Then on the other hand, the perpetrators are also not as young as they were when they perpetrated these crimes 50 years ago. They are aging or they are dying, and the commission wants to get done with the work as soon as possible within the timelines available, within the budget that has been allocated, to get done so that we can get justice much faster and much quicker and much in a much more credible way for those who have yearned for it for the 23 years.
I want to find out from you, because you've raised concerns regarding the lack of cooperation from various government departments and entities, as several former and current government leaders. Is there a link between the two? And firstly, who is not cooperating with you?
We would not want to make that link, but I can understand why certain sections of society would want to make those links. And it is, we are now, and I must say this, with the help of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, ever since she has been involved in helping us to facilitate responses from government departments and entities, we have seen a much more improved rate of comments. We do have then still the date of the 26th of November, at which all government departments should, in any case, make their submissions and provide us with the information that we need. This delay, I hope, and the commissioners hope, would be the last delay. We do want to deal with the issues at hand. We are ready to roll out our list of evidence and those who want to come and testify. We want to get to the bottom of the truth, and we want to do it sooner than later.
Well, certainly. I mean, this was already formed in May. It's now end of November that we're hoping.
6 months later.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's going to be a break because, you know, at the end of the year, there's not much happening. Have you had many witnesses? How many witnesses have actually come forward to offer evidence?
It is very difficult to put a number to it at this stage. We know that we're going to start with the 8 Kalata and others versus government witnesses, simply because they are organized and they are already grouped. Then it's a very good platform to work from because of the innuendos of political interference, because of suggestions of deliberate delays. And so we want to start with them and we want to build it further. We will also be calling some of those ministers and former government officials, whether it's in the police or NPA, to come forward and account for what they have done or what they have not done over the years. We do know that we have issued around 200 letters to those government leaders, and we will have a very interesting and exciting list of witnesses.
Yeah, well, let's hope it gets off soon. Just finally, the matters that are still in court. So these are some, I mean, pertaining to these TRC cases, including those over 20 families that are actually filing a court application against the president and the government seeking constitutional changes for delays in the prosecutions. Talk to us about this.
They're applying for, one of the issues that they're applying for is also constitutional damages.
I beg your pardon, not changes, damages.
And our commission is also tasked with determining what those constitutional damages would be. And what the president done very smartly and very cleverly is encompass all that they have asked for in that court case, but also what civil society organizations have asked over the last 20 years, what the public has been crying for over the last while. And so while our primary and lean mandate is to look at the cases that were referred by the TRC to the police for prosecution and the NPA for to the police for investigation and the NPA for prosecution why it was that they've never been to court or investigated. That is what we are doing. But another one is also to determine constitutional damages.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you for coming in. Lionel Adendorf, spokesperson of the TRC Cases Judicial Commission of Inquiry, talking to us about what happens now after yesterday's hearings were postponed for a few weeks to the 26th of November. Thank you. Thank you for coming in to talk to us here.